What? 64-bit in a camera? Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thomas Love here from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, and today I'd like to discuss with you this evolution, or better revolution, that is happening in the camera market, because finally we have the first camera equipped with a 64-bit processor. So after this evolution occurred in many other sectors, I'm thinking about personal computers, game consoles, smartphones as well, finally also the camera will benefit from a 64-bit processor. What does that mean? Why do we need 64-bit? We didn't so far, but 64-bit is way faster and can manage a bigger amount of data compared to the 32-bit that we are having right now in all the cameras around the world. So the very first camera having this 64-bit processor is a French brand. I was expecting it to be Sony because 64-bit could give a serious advantage to cameras implementing the AI, autofocusing, tracking mechanism, while the very first camera having it is a rangefinder. And I'm referring to the French company called PIXII. PIXII, I like the camera, I like the company because it stands for quality. So also the build is machined out of pure metal, but the main advantage of the French PIXII camera is that it can be upgraded even with hardware upgrades. So the very first PIXII came out and hit the market, and then a few years later the second PIXII had a better sensor, and the owners of the very first model were able to upgrade to the very latest sensor. And the same thing is happening right now. So if you are having a PIXII in your hand, you can send it in, and for like 350 euros they will upgrade the hardware so that you will take advantage of that 64-bit processor. This is fighting hardware obsolescence, and they are the only ones doing it. But apart from the great quality in construction, the PIXII Rangefinder can use lenses with the M-mount. So if you are having your Leica M lenses, you can eventually use them with the PIXII camera. And so with PIXII you will have your APS-C sensor, which is rated one of the best out there. If you need more details, please go over the PIXII website and you will see why this is one of the best out there. It's an APS-C and can also benefit from the use of Leica M-mount glasses. So basically you're having a small Leica APS-C made in France with great construction quality. You will have the framing lines for 28, 35, 50 millimeter, and of course you don't have autofocusing mechanism. The other thing, don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think the PIXII camera has any IBIS or OIS, so no optical or image stabilization whatsoever. But if you can use your fast M glasses, I think you might not need that. Another good question that arose when I read the announcement was why a manual rangefinder would need 64-bit. And that's a very good question, and the answer is also one of the news that make me thrilled about this new product, because the PIXII, the third generation of the PIXII camera, is also able to shoot DNG raw monochrome files. Yes, they do have the Bayern filter installed in the camera, but with that 64-bit processor they are able to iterate how much light hit any pixel and revert back to a DNG monochrome raw file. How does it work? They admittedly are arguing whether it is worth or not to have a monochrome only sensor within the camera. So they're having both the sensor, because as you know, out there the whole world is black and white. If you missed that episode, we discussed it already. If you missed that episode, find it up here. But they are well aware that monochrome cameras have a superior image quality and a superior ISO management. And so with those 64 megabits, since they don't need it for any autofocusing, they need it for any tracking or face recognition mechanism, they are using it to convert the original raw file back to a monochrome raw file. How does that work? They are able to iterate how much light hit each one of the pixels, and since the barrier filter is applied in front of your sensor, they will have to revert this mechanism because this filter is anyway filtering a bit of the light that would otherwise hit the pixels. And so with those calculations, they are able to give you a 16-bit monochrome raw file. I am thrilled by the idea of testing this camera. Unfortunately, I reached out to the company prior this year before my travel to Europe, but apparently my YouTube channel doesn't have interesting numbers, and so they didn't reply to me. But I hope that in future they will give me the chance to try this camera. I'm really excited about this camera because of the news, but especially because of what that means for the whole camera market. So I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please remember to like it, share it on your social media, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the new videos to come, and I guess I will see you later. Thank you. Bye.